Matthew Vaughn is in talks to direct Man of Steel 2.
Yes, please.
Hello, cult members, and welcome to the Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
And I'm going to be doing this a lot, I'm just telling you. Welcome to episode 43 of the Pop Culture Cult. We're getting to our 1-year anniversary.
Yeah, we are.
We might have to do some like retrospective or something like that. Or maybe like do some big push to get more followers or something for the 1 year.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. It's still about 5 weeks away, but I had to look it up today because I'm like, we're getting close. To 1 year. So still plugging away. Please like, subscribe to all of our pages, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Oh wait, no, we're supposed to do that at the end, aren't we? A whole bunch of stuff to talk about this week, and there might be some Star Wars news.
I don't know. Is there?
We can skip it.
I haven't heard anything.
I could totally. Whoa. This will be a conversation piece in a minute. I'm not really happy, and not what they chose. We're going to start off. We're going to start off with, we went and saw American Assassin on Friday.
Yep.
And we decided that this weekend was going to be about antiquing and football.
Yes.
And so we did nothing but sit on the couch and watch football for a day and a half.
Yes.
And maybe had too many cocktails. So we didn't do a full review of American Assassin, but we wanted to do one here now.
Yep.
Overall, what'd you think?
I liked it. I know that several people were like, it was great in the beginning, and then it sucked at the end, and I didn't really think that, but we're kind of like, we're action, turn your mind off.
Yes.
Was I entertained? Yes,
Yeah.
I was entertained.
Yeah, we're very much popcorn movie people.
Yeah.
I not saying that we don't like the other ones, you know, the big make you think kind of movies. We like those too.
Yep.
But if I'm going to spend $15 to go see a movie, I want to be entertained.
Yep.
And not be forced to think or forced to feel. And American Assassin was a fun, Bourne type of origin story movie, and I thought it was a lot of fun. I'd like to have seen them do that as 2 films and not 1.
Right, and you said that as soon as we left the theater.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's Taylor Kitsch plays the bad guy. That's not really a spoiler. It's on IMDb.
Right.
I'd like to have seen a lot more with his character.
Yeah, so some introduction and build up.
Yeah,
and then...
yeah. He was, and the movie's not about him. It's about Dylan O'Brien's character, who is actually he's really good in it, and he's very believable as this emotionally driven assassin, and making decisions out of emotions and not making decisions out of doing the right thing and doing them for the right reasons and stuff.
And I think the development of his character over 2 movies would have been better too. There was some talk that it goes from again, I don't think this is spoiling anything, but from a tragedy to 18 months later, all by himself on his own without any like professional training or anything, becomes this badass assassin, and some people were like,
rogue on his own.
Yeah,
kind of badass assassin.
Yeah, he didn't have training, so I get it, but it wasn't a movie I was there to dissect. We talked about there was a couple of times when we were both like, oh, they're gonna fall into the movie trope and go right off the rails, and they actually didn't.
Yeah, that was nice.
So
that was nice.
Yeah.
Here's the obligatory sex scene. Here's the obligatory love interest, and it was none of that happened.
Right.
And I liked that kind of misdirect.
And the fight scene on the boat was awesome.
And the fight scene of the boat was very, very well done.
Yeah.
Overall, I'd probably give it like a 6.5,
Yeah.
maybe a 7 if I saw it again.
I was thinking a 6.5.
Yeah, so we're right in that same area. I think overall it was definitely worth going to go see. I'm not upset I went and saw it. I'm not upset I lost my money on it. I don't know if we'll buy it on DVD.
Probably not.
But if we go to Zia Records and it's on the $4 shelf,
maybe
that might be something. But I'm not going to rush out like tomorrow to go buy Wonder Woman on Blu-ray with all the extras and stuff like that.
Right.
But definitely a cool movie based off of a book, and Michael Keaton is fucking amazing.
He is amazing.
He's always so good.
Yep.
And so definitely worth the watch. Definitely go. Talking about assassins, John Wick, they announced that John Wick
Chapter 3?
I was going to say the third, however you want to, the trois, is coming out on May 17th of 2019.
So long.
Not like we don't have any movies between now and then.
No.
Some Star Wars stuff again. But it's May is an interesting time for it because it came out in the fall for the first time, and then it was like what? April this year, then it came out.
Yeah.
And now they're pushing.
No, it was February. Remember, because we went that was our Valentine's Day.
That was our Valentine's Day. Yes.
Date.
So yeah, because that's how we roll. Fuck Valentine's Day. It's just a stupid holiday. But May. I mean, you're right in the wheelhouse of the start of the summer,
big boy movies.
Boy movies.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if they're gonna put some more money in. Not that they need to put more money into it. They've been both really, really, really good.
Yeah.
In fact, I might go put one of them on when we get done. We'll see. But that's as kind of laying the groundwork for 2019, even though there's 2018 still, but that's big on the table kind of thing, which is going to be kind of an interesting talk as we talk about the next subject.
So getting to the next subject, didn't they move the Star Wars movie that was scheduled for May of 2019?
Yes.
Okay, so that opens it up for some.
They announced
other
the moving of. We'll talk.
Movies.
Okay, we're just gonna get into it. Cue hand flailing. So last week we did the show on Monday, like we normally do, and we talked about Colin Trevorrow being removed from his duties as director of Episode 9.
Right.
And a bunch of stuff has come out about the Colin Trevorrow, what he wanted to do, and what Kathleen Kennedy and the story group were trying to get him to do, and he was not willing to work with what they wanted to do.
Because that's worked out so well for the last several directors.
They didn't wait until 2 weeks from the end of production to actually find it. So I read some stuff that just said that Colin was kind of had dug his feet in and said, "This is the way I'm doing it," and Kathleen said, "You need to kind of maybe go and work with us and do this," and he said, "No, this is the way I'm doing it," and they says, "Well, thank you for coming," and so then a giant list of names came out of people who should direct or could direct the next one. And of all the names on that list, there was a short list of names. There was a bunch of names on that list that like people were just throwing out there. Matthew Vaughn, talking about him.
Yep.
Ivernay Duvernay had come out, and Quentin Tarantino. It was George Lucas was thrown around. Like all these names were thrown around, but there was 3 that actually came out that made sense. One was Rian Johnson.
Right.
And he's doing Episode 8. And
he has come out and said, "I'm tired."
He's
tired.
And no one can blame him.
Right.
And they offered him. They went to him first and said, "Would you please do this?" And Ryan said, "No, I need a break."
Yep.
And good on you. It would have been really easy for you to get in there, and then you get about 3 months or 4 months into the whole process, and you're burnt out, and you're just holding on, and then the movie suffers.
Yeah.
My pick was Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening is they went back to an old faithful, Ron Howard. No, that's the other one. J.J. Abrams. Now.
And the internet exploded.
It's fucking the internet. we're trying to do stuff to get viewers and stuff on the internet, and I'm not going to talk bad about the fucking internet trolls, but at least not yet. Give me a minute. So people, my first reaction when they announced JJ, and this was on Tuesday last week, was I like it. It's safe.
Yes, and that's been, I mean, everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone who matters has said, whether they like it or not, they have all said it's safe.
Right. And I don't blame Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy and the story group. I don't blame any of them. Everybody we've brought up when we've talked about who could possibly do this movie of this scale is busy doing something else.
Right.
And if Rian Johnson says, no, I can't, then you go to the short list of people who aren't doing anything. And JJ's not doing anything.
Yeah.
If Joss Whedon was doing it, it was not doing the reshoots for Justice League,
right,
and Batgirl.
But yeah,
he might have been in the conversation. If Denis Villeneuve was not doing Blade Runner 2049 or Dune, he might have been in the conversation. So there's just been this. The internet then had this hissy fit that JJ is this pick, and I don't know who else they were going to pick to be able to do something of this scale, to go out and do and be available. That's the other thing. Be available and do something of this scale,
right,
and be able to drive the ship.
Oh, and by the way, you also have to write the script.
Yeah, they took Colin Trevorrow's script and said,
right. So in January, which is 3 months essentially from now, you need to be available, even though this movie's not coming out for 2 years.
2 years.
You've got to be available starting in January to start working on writing the script. And you need to be somebody that's actually capable. Just because you're capable of directing doesn't mean you're capable of... Now, he's not writing it by himself, but...
Right. He's co-writing it with Chris Terrio. And Chris Terrio wrote Argo. And he wrote the Batman parts for BVS.
Right.
And he also worked on Justice League's parts 1 and 2. But at this point in time, I don't know if he was the original script writer, if he was in for the rewrites, if he was...
Right.
He's worked on the Justice League stuff. But
right.
He did Argo. He got a little freaking gold statue for Argo.
Yep.
So
it's a great movie.
And the Batman stuff in BVS is really, really good.
Yeah. Well, it's not their fault that the editors came in and cut it to shit.
Right. And they had a terrible bad guy. But not Suicide Squad with this one.
Right.
So I'm interested to see how they handle the next few months. Ron Howard has done a really good job of tweeting out pictures about how much fun they're having on the set and how much forward momentum they have with Han Solo going and stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if they have some kind of big... I won't say announcement, but like big press conference or whatever to kind of show like the picture they had of the whole cast sitting down and reading the Force Awakens script.
Yeah.
For the first one.
Or JJ on set with Ron.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just to kind of cool everybody's jets and give it a minute. I'm trusting them to do what they need to do to make it right.
Trekkies, Trekkers, which one is
I don't know.
Derogatory? Trekkies had a hissy fit when they brought JJ on to take over Star Trek
when they did the reboot, yeah.
and Star Warsians had a fit when they brought JJ in to do Star Wars. So
to do Force Awakens,
yeah. So calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
And a petition. Stop it.
Here we go.
Stop it.
Here we go. This is...
Your petition is not... Kathleen Kennedy's over there going, your petition.
I'm sorry. This is the internet being full internet. And there's 2,000 signatures. There's no traction on this at all. It's not going to get anywhere. But this conversation is dumb.
Yeah.
Somebody got hired for a job. Oh, by the way, he's probably in the top 10 of directors in the entire planet right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because he wasn't your choice, or you're afraid that he can't finish, or he's going to do some... You have no idea what the story group has planned. What you have no idea where the story's going in episode 8.
Right.
We haven't even seen that fucking thing yet.
Maybe Ron Howard finishes it all up.
No, that's Han Solo. Rian Johnson.
Oh, that's
Rian
right.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Rian Johnson.
Ryan Johnson finishes it all up, and all JJ's got to do is come in and throw some stuffed teddy bears in there, and
they're called porgs. I got one. It's over there.
I was talking about the Ewoks.
I know you were.
All right.
But the petition was started on the internet to get a guy fired from a job. Now, they talked about this on Collider Movie Talk today, and I actually happen to agree that sometimes a petition to get someone fired or to get removed from something because they touched kids or they stole pensions or they did something like that, that makes complete and utter sense.
Yeah.
100%, I will sign that petition, legalize marijuana, for fuck's sake. But they hired J.J. Abrams to direct episode 9, and you have no clue what's going on inside those buildings at frickin' Lucasfilm. So calm down and let them people do their jobs.
Yeah. And have some faith that Lucasfilms is going to make sure that he wraps it up.
Right.
And that, he does the things that people are afraid, or does the things or doesn't do the things that people are afraid he is or isn't going to do.
So Kathleen Kennedy asked JJ to direct episode 7 of Force Awakens. And it's not a redo of A New Hope. It is actually got story elements of A New Hope, but it's not a retell. And he took chances with a female lead and 2 minority men as the 3 major characters in this show, in this movie. It made $2 billion.
Yeah, right. So when you direct a movie and it makes $2 billion,
right,
then you can sign a fucking petition to have him removed. But until then,
they brought somebody in to help redo Rogue One because it was going in a direction it didn't work. Rogue One is highly considered one of the best Star Wars movies ever made, especially in this household. And things weren't going well with Lord Miller, and so they decided to go in a different direction. People are so upset that these decisions are being made and that they're in a bad. That fills me with confidence.
Yeah,
that they're not afraid. They're not scared of the internet to stand up and say, we're going in a direction that's not right. We need to fix this now and not put out some stupid prequel level Star Wars movie, which is just going to ruin all the momentum they have right now going on.
Well, and they almost, it's a good thing that nobody's paying attention to this petition, because I think that the internet did have some valid points, and I think that Lucasfilms and JJ would listen to those points.
Right.
He has proven before. People have said things, and he has proven before that he is willing to take a look at what some people think is a flaw, or that he didn't do correctly. So doing this stupid petition, you're almost negating everything positive that could have come out of that.
Right. And I just those are the people who want Star Wars to be Star Wars will never be good enough for them. They have it in their head, for those people, they have it in their head that Star Wars is at this level and that nothing is ever going to be that good.
Well, and it won't. If you are a person of my age, I went and saw the first or fourth Star Wars.
They've ditched the numbers. They're just going by the names of them now. A New Hope.
All right, A New Hope. In the movie theater, when it first came out, I stood in line in the heat, and I went and saw it. And it was nothing. We had never seen anything like that before.
Right.
And we just sat there with our mouths open going, oh my God, there's spaceships flying around in space and they got cameras on them and they're showing it to us. This is super cool. How are they doing this? We had never seen anything like that before. That is never going to happen again.
Right.
That film has gone so far beyond that now that
there's fucking monkeys with fucking guns on fucking horses and they look real.
Right.
There's a talking tree.
I mean, it gets better. We watched Lord of the Rings last night, and it was the Ents, and it was like, wow, that looked so great when it first came out. And I'm looking at it now, and I can totally tell that it's all CGI in the background, and so there's small steps forward that we almost don't even perceive because it's like watching your kid grow. You don't realize that they've gone from here to here because you're with them every day. It's the same kind of thing. Yeah. We're never going to have that New Hope experience again. So just move on.
Just enjoy what's coming out for what it is.
Yeah.
And like I said, we're pretty animated about all of this. I like the JJ pick. I'm assuming you like the JJ pick. I'm
not dramatically opposed. I get the concerns, and hopefully I have hope that they will address it.
Right. Not a new hope. That's something different.
Confidence.
Star Wars. The one of the things that at Celebration they announced was this book, and it's 40 stories for the 40th anniversary, and it's called From a Certain Point of View. And it's a collection of different stories that different writers from all over the Star Wars author universe, I guess is the best way to put it, they're putting it together, and it's all like backstories. It's Captain Ned Tilly's and what happened with Aunt Beru, like smaller stories that will be canon, but they're not. They don't directly affect the major storyline, but they are part of the main story, of the whole story. Yeah. Well, this is one of the books that I was actually really looking forward to getting when they announced it, because I liked the idea and the names they had to do stuff. But then they started talking... What?
Oops. Sorry.
Somebody's throwing things around over there. But they are talking about the audiobook this week, and they have some people coming in to read each of the different stories. Neil Patrick Harris is coming in. Will Wheaton is coming in. John Hamm is coming in. Ashley Eccleston is coming in. Gianna Gavankar. I gotta figure out how to say her name. She's the
Janina Gavankar.
Gavankar. She's the girl who is
Bob Smith. People.
Yeah. It's a very Russian-esque name, but she does not look Russian at all.
No.
She is actually the actress who plays the new character in Battlefront 2. She read the Battlefront 2 book that Christy Golden put out that I listened to. Really good book, and she does a really good job. But each of the stories is going to have a different author or different voice actor reading it. But Neil Patrick Harris and Will Wheaton and John Hammond all have agreed to read this stuff, and now I'm super excited about this book.
Yeah, well, and that's cool too, because we talk about audiobooks, because we both listen to them because our jobs allow us to, and how male narrators will kind of change their voice to sound female or vice versa.
Right.
But this allows them to, if the story is basically about Aunt Maru, they just have a female do the read, and same thing with the guys. So that's cool.
I just think it's really cool. I think maybe 5 chapters from the end of Aftermath Life Debt, which is the second in the Aftermath series. They're radio dramas. They're not audiobooks. They're radio dramas, and I've really loved the way the production is on the series. I'm a little confused in the book, but they have all the sound effects, and they have when they were in this medical freighter and this guy was getting worked on, and you could hear the spaceship rumbling in the background
That's
because
cool.
they were on the spaceship, and you get laser fire and all, it's all the different things.
Yeah.
And they were doing a big celebration, so they had music in the background from the parade while they were talking. So I really like that. I hope they do that kind of things with a certain point of view.
Isn't that funny how we've kind of come full circle? TV came in and kind of killed the whole radio drama thing, and now that we have radios in our pockets on our phones that we can we've gone back to that.
Is it Big Finish that does the Doctor Who Torchwood stuff?
Yeah, I'm thinking about
they do the radio dramas too. So
I'm thinking about going there.
Yeah, I'm trapped.
Because another thing we need to sign up and pay money for.
It's fine. So this week in the SCHMOEDOWN rundown matches of the week, not the SCHMOEDOWN rundown, the show. Sorry, guys, I don't want to be stealing your name. In the match of the week, or matches of the week, brought to you by Epoch VR News. The banner will be up here somewhere. For all your VR news, we had 5 matches last week. We had one match that was Celebrity Party Boat, a lot of fun. We had Leonard Moulton and his daughter versus Cinema Sins. Leonard Moulton was actually in. His daughter looks nothing like him.
No.
Rainbow hair, tattoos.
She was great.
That match was actually a lot of fun for both of their first times.
Yeah.
And all of them said they wanted to come back. Cinema Sense, it's kind of hard because they live in Tennessee.
Yeah.
But Leonard Moulton was like, I don't want to come back and avenge this loss. I actually want to come back because this was awesome. So Leonard Moulton was all about it. But the big stuff that's been going on has been the Ultimate SCHMOEDOWN Team Tournament. And we got down to the Final 4 last week. We had Wolves of Steel taking on Above the Line. Wolves of Steel has Classy Clark Wolf and Mark Riley. Mark Riley is a 2-time singles champion. Very powerful team. And they went against Sam Levine and Drew McWeeny. Drew McWeeny has very quickly showed that he is the man in this thing.
Yep.
He is the first person to get all 8 questions in the first round correct, and the extra question.
Didn't he do it twice?
2 matches in a row.
Yeah.
He's the first one to do that.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
Crazy. They Above the Line pretty much ran Wolves of Steel out of the building.
Which is, I mean, Clark Wolf isn't any slouch, and Mark Riley knows his stuff.
Clark, I picked Clark to be in the Final 4 of the singles tournament.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting. Unfortunately, we were rooting for Wolves of Steel because they took out Lights of the Party, but Above the Line, I can't be mad with them. They're very professional when they come in, and they're very professional when they do all the pre and post match stuff.
Yep.
I really like it, and it's like Mutt and Jeff, like McKinney's like this tall, and Levine's like this tall. Yeah. In the other match, we had Top 10, which is Matt Nost and John Roca, who were once bad guys and now are faces, or good guys, going against those assholes from Team Action.
Boo.
When your 3-point question is who was the villain in the 2005 Spider-Man, and it's Green Goblin, and that's to win the match.
Yeah.
Really. Top 10 had a kind of a rough starting round, but they made it interesting at the end. But Action had 2 questions to win it, and Action just, man, they're fucking good, and they know it, and it kills me. I'm sure the guys, we've talked about this before, the 2 guys, Ben and Andrew, that are actually Team Action, they actually are really cool guys. They're really nice, and their show is really a lot of fun and stuff, their podcasts and stuff. But they
play the bad guy.
Play the bad guy, and they really, really well.
Do it well.
They actually started the match with a video from their podcast, and they had the former wrestler Tupac, now X-Pac or Six-Pac, or he went by a bunch of different names, but he was on their show, and read this statement, pretty much talking smack to Roca,
calling out Roca.
And Roca is a huge wrestling fan, and he knows Tupac, and so that was that's two of the formal wrestlers that they have on the show now. They have Booker T does stuff every week for him, but unfortunately Team Action won. They get above the line. You're going to have to score 35 or more points in that game, I think, to win. Yeah. And the Matt.
I don't think Action's gonna make it past above the line.
I don't know.
I have above the line's going to. It's going to be
above the line against
Patriots.
Patriots. I think the Patriots actually have a match to defend. So whoever has the belts, the winner of the above the line Team Action will actually go after them. But Patriots haven't lost ever, so it should be interesting. And then on Friday we had the singles championship. We had Dan Murrell, the GOAT, the greatest of all times, the GOAT.
Dangerous Dan Murrell.
He actually has only had one loss in his entire career, and that was to John Roca. And then he beat Roca later on. And then he went against Christian Harloff. Christian Harloff is the guy who invented this fucking thing.
The commissioner.
He is the commissioner. He talked about it when he won his number one contender match, that he knew the final question and he was trying to decide if he actually wanted to get it right.
Because the internet would explode.
If he went into this match with Dan Murrell. And
it's rigged. It's rigged.
It's not rigged, guys. It's the talking stuff is fabricated a little bit, the kind of for storylines and stuff like that. But the game itself is real. Yeah. And they change the plot line of the stories depending on how the matches go. Yeah. Sometimes on the fly. And Dan lost to freaking Christian. Yep. And pretty handily.
I'm pretty sure, because it came down to the last question. Christian had to answer. It was his 5-point.
Yeah.
He had to answer that in order to win, and it was a Disney question.
It was I
don't remember what the question was.
Who is the voice of the mayor from Zootopia?
Zootopia, right?
That's what it was.
And Christian has a small child, a daughter. He talks a lot about how he has seen a lot of Disney movies because he has a small child, and he took forever. He let it count down. He said, "Repeat the question," but the whole time he had a little smirk on his face, like he totally knows the answer to this, and he's gonna play it out. Yep. But
it really good, fun match to watch. But a very hard match to watch because the questions were hard, and then Dan spun and got opponent's choice, and Christian gave him sports movies, and
there was a controversy with the buzzer match.
Yeah, there's in the championship rounds there's 2 extra rounds. There's a batting round and there's a buzzer, and as soon as you hit the buzzer, you have 2 seconds to reply, to answer. And so there was a question that was read. It was a fairly long question. The buzzer was hit by Dan Murrell.
He kind of went,
Ken Knapsack kind of continued talking for another second or so. And then Dan paused, waiting for Ken to stop talking, and then gave the answer. Christian challenged it, and they decided to go with another question. So they took the point off the board for Dan, and then they gave him another question, and then that question was actually answered by Christian. Yep. So it was a 2-point swing there. Was the correct call, but it, anytime Christian does anything that's outside of being the commissioner and the commentator of it, people are going to complain and stuff like that. Right. And I don't care. Right. He won that match. Yeah. And then at the end of the match, Dan retired. For now. I expect him to show up at the free-for-all with like a number 30 or something like that and be towards the end. So be interested. And now Christian's going to he's going to defend his belt against the singles champion, the singles Ultimate Showdown tournament champion at the Spectacular, which will be towards the end of the year. So that tournament will start, I don't know, if, probably not this week, but next week. So lots of SCHMOEDOWN stuff. We were actually just joking about it before we came on tonight. We're really glad there's only 2 matches this week.
Yes, not 4 or 5.
Jesus. So go check out ePark VR. These are friends over there. Josh, content. A couple more things that we want to talk about for the end here. There's this show coming out on Amazon called Good Omens with David Tennant and Michael Sheehan. The internet has been abuzz today because of this photo that came out, and Michael Sheehan has bleached blonde hair, and David Tennant with this shoulder length rock and roll red hair. And so it's pretty much based on this novel, and Michael Sheehan is playing Azrael. 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 There we go. Azrael. And David Tennant is playing the demon Crowley. I'm running out of gas, guys. Crowley. So it's angel and a demon getting together to stop the apocalypse or whatever. It's a 6-part series. It's going to be on Amazon. I don't care. I just want to see the 2 of them on screen together.
Yes.
So, but you've seen it. We've posted it to the page. It's awesome. The photo's awesome. Let's just the 2 of them doing anything. The 2 of them sitting in a pub talking politics. I think I would watch. HBO came out this week and said that they are going to film multiple endings for the Game of Thrones finale. Thank you, Jesus.
Since they have proven that their internet security is a sieve.
It's poor. It's very poor. Apparently they work with
Sony
or Equifax.
Equifax.
They'll probably work for have the same company.
Yeah.
I really like that too, because then even the actors can't come out and say, slip and say.
Yeah.
It was,
and somebody pointed out last week when they first came out with that it gives all the actors the opportunity to do their thing, to kind of have a resolution for their character, whether or not that resolution is what actually happens, but it gives them kind of a closure too. And I was like, I didn't think about that, but that's cool.
A good point. Yeah. Jon and Sansa and Arya and Cersei, they've all been on the show, and Tyrion, they've all been on the show since the beginning. So they've been on the show for 8-10 years, and so they're emotionally connected to the show. It's obvious. Look at all of them on the internet. But so giving them all a chance to have some closure and stuff like that, and now it's worth getting the DVDs. Because I would love to go see all the endings. All the endings.
It's like Clue.
It is. It's totally. It's a choose your own adventure edition of Game of Thrones. I just want it to fade to black.
With Journey playing in the background. Nice.
Danny's flying through the air. Off
Don't stop believing.
Somebody has to put that together on the internet. I can't draw, but that's totally like an animation thing. And then the last thing we wanted to talk about, we don't normally talk about Phoenix Fan Fest. It is the baby con, the baby Comic-Con.
The mid-year con.
It's run by Square Egg. But it's a smaller one. It's only a 3-day. It's a 2-day this year. Yeah. A Saturday and Sunday. It's held at the convention center where they hold the big one, but it's just a smaller con. Not that we don't have other cons all over this town. Jesus Christ. But we don't normally really worry about FanFest, about going and stuff. They announced a couple of guests over the last couple of weeks, but then they announced this weekend a 4-guest panel group, and it's the cast from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. The first one.
The original
one. They're getting Charlie, Veruca Salt, Violet Beauregard, and Mike TV. And the 4 of them will all be here signing autographs and doing a panel and stuff like that. I was kind of like, I could go for the day or whatever, and now I'm a little interested about going.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting, too, because they brought in Dick Van Dyke for the big con. So it's Is this a theme? Are they going for some of the older?
There seems to be this trend right now about bringing in not typical con circuit people.
Yeah, but these are like, I mean, are they seeing a change in the demographic that they've got an older audience, and so bringing in the stuff from the 50s or 60s or
maybe
70s?
I mean, they had what's his name from Back to the Future, Christopher Lloyd, a couple of years ago for Comic-Con too.
Yeah,
and so
that's 80s.
It's 80s, so it's a little bit older of a crew. They had the cast of Karate Kid a couple of years ago too.
Yeah.
So they I feel they do a good job of bringing in a large, a large group of different people.
Yeah.
So you do have something to go to. There's there's Doctor Who people, and they're like, not this year but the year before we went to like 4 Doctor Who panels, which was awesome. But there wasn't a whole lot of Doctor Who stuff this year because they had a bunch of the Once Upon a Time group.
Yeah.
But we had Danny Trejo, which was cool. But just that one, that was one of the ones where I was like, that's really kind of cool that they're bringing all of them in. And
I don't know that I've seen them
on the con circuit at all. No.
Yeah.
David Michael Frank or whatever, the Green Power Ranger, has been at every con this year.
Yeah, he can go away.
And it's his fault.
They need to bring... Is Barbara Eden still alive?
I don't know.
I think she is. She was Jeannie and I Dream of Jeannie.
They'd
totally bring Barbara Eden in.
So a few years ago, the first year that we actually stayed for the weekend for Comic-Con, they had 3 of the members of Rocky Horror Picture Show there that weekend. And then they had a screening of Rocky Horror with the cast who were all lit 6 ways to Tuesday. I think they started drinking at like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
And then they had the Arizona Rocky Horror Picture Troupe group do the stage show while the whole thing was going on. And I've talked about this multiple times. I've never had more fun seeing a Rocky Horror than seeing 3,000 people trying to do the time warp
out in the aisles.
Out in the aisles and stuff. We sat in the back. I could not stop laughing because
we were trying to do the time warp, but we just kept laughing because it was hilarious.
So, but that's just another example of them, like, bringing in something for the older group and then still trying to bring in stuff for the younger group. They brought some wrestlers in the last few years for FanFest. So you have the wrestling.
They had Lee Majors this year and Lindsay Wagner too, didn't they? The $6 Million Man.
Was it this year or last year? Or something like that.
Yeah.
So they're expanding the brand a little bit and stuff, but we'll see how the new cosplay issues are handled at this con to get ready for the big one in May.
Yep.
That's it for this week. Tell us what you thought. Are you excited about JJ being the director for episode 9? Are you going to watch Good Omens? And everything else that we talked about, the Schmoedown and all that stuff, please tell us what you're thinking about. Is there something that happened that we missed that you think that we need to be talking about? We will be more than willing to listen.
Just don't sign a petition.
Just don't sign a petition. Unless you're signing a petition to make us rich.
Yes.
Sign that petition, please. You can get a hold of us. Please like this video. Let me start there. Please like this video. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please share this with all of your friends. We're going to do another big push to get more friends and more followers in our little cult. You can also get a hold of us on Facebook at the Pop Culture Cult. We're PopCultureCult1 on Instagram. We're Pop_Cult1 on Twitter. And we are the Pop Culture Cult on the Stardust app. Please download the app. It's a little app that gives you a chance to do 30-second reviews. I did like 5 trailers last week. We did one for American Assassins. This does those little 30-second things or whatever you're watching. Please download the app, like us first, and then share. Go like it with all your friends. And go like Late to the Party. Those guys are cool. They have over 1,000 followers on frickin' Stardust. Yes, Robert and Vanessa, I'm jealous.
It's okay. It's okay. I like you.
Good, you married me. And until next time, good night now.